Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 17 of TamsCraftyKnits. Excuse me, I'm actually in my pyjamas and that's how we're going to roll today. It's been a hard day and I'm in my pyjamas early. I'm going to film this podcast episode, then I'm going to go sit down, do some crochet and watch Heart of Dixie. Now if you have Netflix, you can actually watch this on Netflix. They have all 4 seasons of it on Netflix, but instead of using up my internet data, I'm going to watch it on DVD. And it's a pretty good show if you haven't checked it out. Anyway, let's get on with the episode. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, Snapchat, and I also have a Facebook page where I post things that I've made that are for sale under TamsCraftyKnits. You can also find it the Ravelry Group, obviously on Ravelry. And thank you to those of you who have been posting in there lately. It's been great to chat with you, so keep that going. So yeah, you may notice it's kind of a different light. All I have on is the ceiling light in the room. I don't have my umbrella lights on today. I'm hoping this is not going to be too long of an episode, and please excuse my crazy hair. It's a very rambly episode already. So yes, I have made new little slides for the sections, so you'll see those as we go along. So enough blabbing and let's get into it with works in progress. So I have been working on, actually transferred this, I don't think it was in this bag last time. I actually made this bag myself. It has Mickey Mouse on it. This is my crocheted sunshine blanket. I have started on another colour. Oops. The edges want to curl up. You can see that it says R. So I've done that square and a little bit of another one. So I'm still working on that. I did message the lady that I'm making it for, and I said, look, you know, it's been really crazy with school and I'm working more hours and things like that. And she's like, no, don't stress about it. No pressure to get it done. You're like, you know, right now, get it done when you get done. So I'm kind of trying to work on that and a few other things at the same time. This next project is on hold until I purchase a set of double pointed needles in this size. Now I do have a set of double pointed needles in this size, however they are longer than the Chigoos that I actually like to use. So this project is up to starting the decreases, but it's kind of gone into hibernation for a bit. It's in my Little Red Riding Hood bag by Knit and Stitch Bits. This is the Barley Hat by Tin Can Knits. I'm using a Madeline Tosh DK in the Shoemaker colorway, I believe it's called. I think it's discontinued because I haven't really seen it anywhere, and I got this in D-Stash, so you can kind of see it there. I actually really like this neutral colorway, and this Madeline Tosh, oh, so nice. And I'm definitely going to have a lot of that left over, so that is just kind of waiting until I order some double points. And I'm using the, I believe it's size 8, which is a 5mm Chigoo. I love my Chigoos, you guys know that. The other work in progress, I can't remember if I mentioned it in the last episode, I had attempted to work a little bit on my aunt's Anissa wrap, and I really shouldn't do those kinds of things at like 10:30 at night because I kind of, I dropped a stitch and it was all over Red Rover. There was no hope of getting that back, so I had to rip it back. I was only a few rows in, so it wasn't disastrous, but so yeah, that's the only thing I attempted to work on. Everything else is just what you've seen. So I finished a couple of hats for the Hats for Kiddos, which is a charity crochet along, knit along being hosted by Ali, who is Crafty Ali. She is formerly of the Caffeinated Knitting podcast. She now does the Knit the Books podcast with her mum Vicky, and she's based in the States, for those of you who are unaware. So as I said, I was hoping to knit a few hats, but time's kind of gotten away from me, and the package, I need to send it out. Obviously I live in Australia, needs to get to the States before the 3rd of November. So I'm planning on sending it out next Tuesday at the latest. So I have a bunch of loom knitted hats that I'm going to send over, and I told Ali that I was sending those ones over to her. I'm also crocheting up a bunch of hats. So there is this one. For those of you who like the Red Heart Super Saver, this is an exact dupe of that colourway. You can actually get this at Spotlight here in Australia. It's called Licorice All Sorts, I think is the colourway. I went there today, and I'll show you something in a minute. And I was going to pick up a few more of these, but it actually wasn't on sale. So, and I still have some in here, as you can see, and I have this ball here is not as soft, so I don't know if I'm going to use it for the hats, but I'll definitely make another one or two in the rest of that. And I also have this pink acrylic that I'm going to use as well. I have a few other colours as well, but I made that one, so that's in the box. And I also made this little one. This is out of it's the Wendy Peter Pan double knit. I can actually probably get more of this stuff from my local yarn shop. One of them is actually closing down. They haven't drastically reduced a lot of their stock. I think once it gets time for shut down no more, they will drastically reduce it, and I'll be in there. Not that I really need to go in there, but I didn't really need to buy the yarn that I bought today, but anyway, I'll get onto that in a minute. So yeah, they have a few other colours of this that I like. And I got this from there ages ago, and I think I'll make a couple of hats out of this as well. This is the Panda Magnum 8 ply, and it's in some bright fun colours. This would actually make a really nice blanket as well, and there's 100 grams in here. Yep. So I'm going to make a few more hats over like the rest of this week, and send those off next week. I'm not going in it for prizes or anything. I just had a lot of those loom knitted hats, and I just thought I might as well send them off, and they can go to people who really need them. So that is my works in progress. I am actually going to add something else. It's kind of stash / future knit along crochet knit or crochet project. What am I talking about? I've got a few knit along things going around in my head, so that's why. If you are in Australia and you want a good deal on yarn, I picked up these today. I got 10 of each of these. These are only 50 gram balls, and they were 99 cents each at Spotlight. The reason they have spooky written on them, it's just a normal 8 ply. This is actually really soft. That other value one that I showed you is terrible. So I got these 3 colours, and I think I'm going to either knit or I might crochet. I think crochet will be a lot quicker. A blanket for myself with these colours. So I got 10 of each colour, because they're, as I said, they're only 50 gram balls. And they also had glitter ones, like Christmassy ones out, but they're also supposed to be 8 ply. But I mean, you guys can see, and those of you who are familiar with the width of an 8 ply yarn, there's no way they were 8 ply. They would pass as a fingering weight, but definitely not an 8 ply. So I was thinking about just using these 2, and there was the white one that had sparkle in it. It wasn't stellina, it was just like a sparkle thread through the yarn, but it kind of, I wasn't going to buy double the amount of that, because it was $1.50 a ball, whereas this was only $1. I know, cheapskate. But yeah, I just thought the orange looked better, and they got these yarns out. There was also a black one in this and a green. They have them out because they're promoting all the Halloween things. I mean, Halloween's not really a big deal over here. Some people get dressed up and go from house to house, but I don't know how much luck they have because most people we don't really do it over here. You know, some communities, you know, within Australia may get, you know, go totally all out, but it's not really a done thing over here. I don't know, we just don't really get into it much. Well, around where I live anyway. So yes, that's kind of stash / future project. So, and my mum, I got like one of the biggest bags known to man from Spotlight. She's like, where are you gonna put all that? And I was like, well, it's probably gonna stay in the bag until I get around to using it. Easy storage solution. But yeah, so that's that. Let's move on to the other new stash. So all of this is patterns. So I picked up 2 patterns from Mina, who is from the Knitting Expat podcast. The reason that I bought both of these hat patterns is because if you bought both of them, you got both of them for $5. There's a $2 discount. That is now passed, but I did pick up the Lightning Strike, which is one that I want to try soon. That's with more of like a DK bulky kind of weight. And then I also picked up the Open Skies hat, which is a little bit scary to me because it does have a big ass cable in it, but I will eventually give it a go. The other 2 were pattern books from my local yarn shop. They're having 25% off, obviously because they're closing down. I picked this up because I thought I would knit either myself or knit them to sell. It's called Our Winter Wrap. And it's just kind of like a log cabin kind of style blanket. And it gives you different colour combinations and things like that. So I picked that up. And you guys are going to laugh at this next one. This is from Peyton's and it's the Head, Hands and Feet. And this is all the patterns in here. So you have a couple of hats, a couple of cowls, some figureless gloves. So as you can see, there's some crocheted stuff in here as well. Of course, some sock patterns as well. So eventually I will get into doing this stuff. Yeah, so I picked that up. So that is all of the kind of stash enhancement. So let's move on to some, well, a new section. It's not a new section, but I've kind of renamed it. So let's move on to Podcaster Love. So I have 3 new podcasts that I have discovered and been watching and catching up on the episodes. First up, and I believe these ladies are from Canada. They are 2 friends named Jenny and Dina, and they have the A Tale of 2 Knitters podcast. They have quite a few episodes, so I'm still trying to catch up. But I have really been enjoying their podcast. They're just interesting to watch, and I love discovering new podcasts from different countries. So if you're looking for another Canadian podcast to watch that have 2 hosts, then definitely check them out. Another one, and I'm gonna have to say this slowly so I don't mess it up. The next podcast is the Knit Naka Natter podcast, and that is hosted by Fatima. Fatima is originally from the UK. She's currently living in Singapore. She's very softly spoken, so a lot of the time I have to turn up my volume to hear what she's saying. But I really enjoy her podcast. She has a good variety of projects. I'm very envious of her sock knitting because that is something I'm yet to master. Maybe one day, eventually. And I also love that she has a little cultural segment in her podcast as well. So she'll share something that she has discovered about the culture in Singapore, and she also shares some of her own culture's traditions as well, which I really like because I love learning about different cultures. So definitely go and check out her channel. All of these people I believe, obviously they're all on Ravelry, but I believe they all have podcast groups as well. The last one is the Knit Pretty podcast. This is hosted by Leighton, and she is in the US. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember where she's from, but she is a very new podcast. The other two podcasts that I mentioned have a number of episodes, but Leighton's is only a couple of episodes so far, so a very new podcast. Still another great one to watch. I actually think I have more, it's probably sad to say, but I have more international podcasts that I watch than kind of Australian ones. There's a group, if I can speak, of Australian ones that I watch, but yeah, I seem to be discovering more international ones than Australian ones. But again, go and check out all these ladies. I will have links to their channels in the show notes, which can be found in the Ravelry group. Just look for the episode 17 thread and you will find them in there. Okay, I don't actually have a intro slide for this bit. There's kind of a bit of a chit chat that I'm going to do now, so if you don't really want to hear about it, I'll see you guys next time. It's going to be kind of future stuff that's coming up. I did put some notes on my phone as well, so let me just get those. I don't know why I sit on the floor and sit on my feet, because hurt, they go numb. Not a good idea. Okay, so I recently, and again, Nicole, you're a yarn enabler. I'm gonna nickname you my yarn enabler. I'm talking about Nicole from the Yarn Alade podcast and the Cowl Girl Collective AU Etsy store, which I did make one purchase, and by one purchase I mean one skein of yarn. Sorry, neighbourhood dog is barking. When she did her shop update on the weekend, I only purchased one. I almost purchased two, but I purchased one. And I will share that with you on the next episode. I'll probably share it on Instagram before that, but I will share it in the next episode. She had posted about Fibershare on Instagram, and I'd heard of it before, but I'd never looked to sign up for it. Well, I finally did. Sign-ups have now closed, but basically it was $7 US, which is about $9 Australian, and you can choose whether you want to swap with someone in your country or internationally. You're not guaranteed to get someone from your own country, but the whole idea of it is the minimum that you're required to send to I need to back up for a second. You get 2 people that you are matched with. One person you will be sending yarn to. The minimum is 200 grams of yarn. That's the minimum thing that you have to send the person. You don't have to send them anything else. It's nice to, but you don't have to. That's the minimum requirement. So you'll get one person that you send yarn and bits and pieces to. Then the other person that you're matched with, they need to send something to you. So it kind of works in like a big circle. So and the reason that you have to pay a fee for signing up to it is if the other person fails to send your swap, then Fibershare can cover the cost of a replacement one to you. And yeah, that's just basically what it covers. And I guess maybe admin costs and things like that, I suppose, as well. I don't know exactly how many people they allow to sign up. It's only open for a short period of time, I think. They are on Instagram if you want to go and follow them. But yeah, I signed up for that. I will admit I do have a little bit of apprehension with signing up for that, and that is why I chose to be matched with someone domestically, in other words within Australia, because I've had a pretty bad experience with a swap recently. I'm not going to name anybody. They know who they are. I don't even know if they watch this video. To be honest, I'm not really fazed if they do or not. Probably sounds horrible, but we'd organised to do a swap, and 3 months ago I sent out her package. I'd sent things like tea. I even sent a skein of my own personal hand-dyed yarn, which, you know, dyeing your own yarn is not a cheap thing in itself, but you know, I was pretty generous with what I'd sent. You know, waiting and waiting. Oh, I've sent out your package. Great, awesome. You know, 4 weeks later I'm still waiting. Supposedly the post office had not put enough postage on the package, so it didn't actually clear customs. I don't know, this is just what I was told. So apparently it got sent back to this person. Then I was kind of still waiting. I thought, oh well, she must have, you know, resent it like she said she was going to the following Friday. Still waiting, and it's all up since I sent her package to her. It's been 3 months. She did say that, you know, she'd been sick and things like that, and you know what, I get it. Life happens, people have to work, people get busy, things happen unexpectedly in life. That's totally fine. You know, there has been talk that this has happened to other people that have swapped with this person as well. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying there is people that have swapped, well, attempted to swap with this person, haven't received anything. So yeah, I'm just a little bit apprehensive about swaps. I would like to do one in our Ravelry group, and I have a solution to international package issues, and I will talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I'm just a little bit apprehensive about the Fibershare. Hopefully it will work out. We'll see. I'm going to move spots because my legs... Okay, so I've moved spots. I'm sitting down lower now. So yeah, I would like to do a little kind of swap next year in our Ravelry group, and I was thinking with, you know, the issues with international swaps, things like that, I would put up a thread in the group. If you would like to participate, then feel free to post. I probably won't do this until, you know, like January, but I'm just kind of putting the idea out there. The minimum requirement I think would be kind of like Fibershare, in that you would just send 100 grams of yarn. If you want to send other things, go for it. But I think, yeah, having the minimum requirement of 100 grams of yarn makes it fair for everybody, and you know, it doesn't have to be an indie dye, it doesn't have to be anything like, you know, fancy schmancy, you know, anything like that. It's just about, you know, giving something to someone else. I just think it's nice to pay it forward, share things. So by all means, if you'd like to add other little bits and pieces, maybe tea, you know, notions, things like that, then feel free. But I don't think, you know, it's necessarily a requirement. I guess it depends if you want to ship internationally. I was thinking that people, like, for example, I would put the Australians and New Zealand, well, I actually don't think we have any New Zealanders, but anyway, all the Australians would go into one container. Like, I'd write all the names and put them in a container. Then I would put, I think we mostly have like Canadians and Americans as well, and kind of group them so that they're kind of very close countries, or in the same country. So I would match Australians with Australians, Canadians and Americans together, just, excuse me, so there's no issues with like international packages getting lost, things like that. Yeah, and that way, you know, I know when we send packages within Australia, like domestically, there's like these mailer bags, and they actually have like a tracking number on them just for like regular mail, so we can keep track of packages and things like that. So I think that's kind of a good idea as well. So I'm just throwing it out there, just within our little group, to kind of do a bit of a, you know, a domestic swap. Yeah, just so that we don't have any issues of packages going missing, things like that. So if you genuinely want to do a swap and you can commit to doing the swap, and don't be wrong, I know sometimes, as I said, things happen in life, doesn't always work, that you know that you can do it, but if you 100% can do that and want to do that, I will put up the thread kind of towards the end of the year for that. I just kind of want to throw the idea out there, see what you guys think. If you have feedback, suggestions for it, feel free. I'm open to suggestions about that. Just put them either in the comments on this video or in the episode thread for this episode. I also wanted to mention a group on Ravelry. I actually found this by watching the Cherry Pearls podcast. Mary, who is one of the hosts in that podcast, she mentioned a group called Lovin the Freebies, and basically it is a group, like there's other threads as well, and I do not know what all the dogs are barking at. It's probably a dog loose in the neighbourhood again. She mentioned it in one of their older podcasts, and there's a couple of different threads in there. One is there's just free patterns. They're free all the time. Then, you know, they never go from being free to being paid for. And I know you can search on the Ravelry patterns for it, but it's nice to kind of have them listed in the one spot. And if there's new patterns that come out that are free, they'll get listed in there. The other one that I like to look in is the free for a limited time. So these ones, they may have just been released, and maybe for like the first 48 hours or the first week, whatever it might be, that pattern is for free. Then after that time, it goes on for a purchase pattern. So yeah, I thought I would mention that just in case some of you might be interested. I keep a pretty good eye on that. Generally every day, or at least once a day, I will have a look in there. Another, and this can get you into a bit of trouble, another group, and this is for the Australians who watch my podcast. Sorry, I think there is an international one, I'm not sure. It's called the Australian Knitters, and you can sell and swap yarn in there. And they have a bunch of different threads in there. There's a thread for certain yarns that you may be looking for, and there's another thread for yarns that are for sale. And I was so bummed over the weekend because a lady in South Australia actually posted in the group. She was selling her Ashford spinning wheel, the one that I want, for $250. And I was like, man, if it wasn't so far away and had a bit of extra money saved away, I would so get it. There's other bits and pieces that went along with it, and she had bought it second hand, but she said in the post that she just didn't get around to using it. So I was like, And then my mum kind of made a good suggestion. She's like, it's probably a good idea to buy one like brand new, so that, you know, if anything goes wrong with it, you know, you can get it fixed and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just like, if only. But yeah, these things happen sometimes, you know, it's just not meant to be. So yeah, another thing that I was thinking of as well, and this is my second last thing. I know you guys are like, is she going to be quiet already and finish the podcast? No, I'm going to keep going. You know what I'm like, I rarely am I quiet. I'm just looking on my phone. I'm thinking about in the Ravelry group, just putting everyone's names of the members into a hat or into a container, whatever it might be, and each month, maybe like at the end of the month or something, draw out someone's name and actually like gifting them a pattern off their wish list. I know not everybody has a wish list on Ravelry. I actually went through the members last night having a bit of a look, just to see if the majority of people actually had wish lists on Ravelry. Some people have just queues of patterns that they want to do, but they don't all have wish lists, and that's totally fine. I think what I'm going to do is, if you don't have a wish list on Ravelry, I may just gift you a pattern from Amber O'Brien, because she's one of my favourite pattern designers. So that's kind of my thinking. So I think I'm going to start that in 2017. I think that's just going to be a regular thing that I want to do. So the other thing, and this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about, it is still in kind of early stages, but myself and a few other Australian podcasters are in talks about doing a cowl, an Australian cowl. I think we're going to call it the Aussie cowl. So it's all about using Australian hand-dyed yarns and Australian patterns from obviously Australian designers. So that's going to happen hopefully January. As some of you may be aware, January 26th is Australia Day, so we're thinking kind of around that time is when it's going to start. So once I know more, I will let you guys know, and obviously I will put a thread in the Ravelry group, all that fun stuff. So yeah, we are all in kind of chatting about it at the moment, and I will let you know more when it comes up. So there will be 2 cowls potentially going on in my Ravelry group in January. Going from none to 2. Bit ambitious, I must say, for me, but you never know. Might work. We'll see how we go. So that is the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and it wasn't too rambly and scattery. I don't know. I'm going to try and get this up tonight. If not, you will see it Wednesday night when I get home from work. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. Also, I would love it if you come and join us on Ravelry. We have a good bit of chatter going on in there, and I would love to see a few more members in there. And feel free to start a thread if there is something that you guys want to chat about or a topic that you want to talk about. Feel free to start one of those in the Ravelry group, and of course come follow me on Instagram, because I usually do sneak peeks of stuff on Instagram, or I'll show you progress of what I'm working on, things like that, or if I find a good deal I will share it on my Instagram account. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Have an awesome time crafting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.